Many years from now, you'll weigh over 50 kilos and beyond. You might have been born on land, but that's not the case. Instead, your lungs are immediately put to the test, giving you just about 30 seconds of breath at a time. At the moment, it's just you and your mother, allowing you to form a strong bond with her as she takes care of you. She's your sole source of nourishment, sacrificing her usual nighttime grazing to ensure you gain weight quickly. For your first week, she showers you with attention, licking, nuzzling, and grooming you. Then, she decides it's time for your first chew toy. Sort of. You now share the rivers and lakes with crocodiles, and while adults tolerate them, you don't have to. So, naturally, you start nibbling on a crocodile's tail. This marks the beginning of a long, complicated relationship between hippos and crocodiles. One that, more often than not, doesn't end well for the crocodiles. After 2 weeks of being alone with your mother, you've bonded enough for her to protect you. It's time to join the rest of the pod, about 30 hippos strong. You and your mother settle in with the other females, though she remains fiercely protective. However, she still needs to eat, so once she decides you're strong enough, she leaves you alone for the first time while she goes to graze. What could possibly go wrong? Well, quite a bit. If given the opportunity, a male wouldn't hesitate to get rid of you in order to make your mother available for breeding again. One approach is performing his usual head-swinging display, but he forgets one crucial thing: always check your blind spot. That's it, you're going on land with mom this time. While she eats, you begin experimenting with solid food. At birth, your intestines are sterile, meaning you can't yet digest grass. To fix that, you need a healthy dose of gut bacteria, which you conveniently get from your mother's intestines. Now, you're on your way to fully processing grass, though it won't be until around 8 months that it becomes your primary food source. You're now a subadult hippo. At night, you graze alone, just as you do every evening. Your enormous canines aren't for eating, they're weapons for combat. After 5 hours of feeding, it's time to return to the river. You slip into the water at your usual spot, passing piles of dung marking territories. Your eyes and nostrils, conveniently placed for semi-aquatic life, allow you to spend the next 60 hours almost entirely submerged, always staying close to your mother and the other females. Though hippos gather together, they don't form strong social bonds with anyone except their mothers. The dominant bull, however, claims a section of the river as his own, granting him exclusive access to the females. Other males can remain as long as they submit, but they won't have the chance to mate unless they challenge and defeat him. Muck-spreading, flinging dung is often thought to be for marking territory, but since it happens even on land, there might be other reasons behind it. Now seems like a good time to visit the cleaning station. You take a deep breath, dive underwater, and open your mouth wide. Small fish seize the opportunity to feed on debris, giving you a thorough cleaning in the process. The vast amounts of dung hippos release into the river provide essential nutrients for fish, benefiting the entire ecosystem, including the animals that eat them. After your cleaning session, it's time to rest before the heat sets in. No need to worry about that red fluid on your skin. It's not blood or sweat, just a special secretion that keeps you cool, retains moisture, and absorbs UV rays to prevent sunburn. It even has antibacterial properties to help heal wounds, whether from fights with other hippos or an overly ambitious pack of lions thinking they can take you down just because you're young. You have options: face the threat alone, risky, alert the adults and let nature take its course, or choose the simplest, safest way out. Life as a subadult hippo is fairly laid back, with only occasional threats. But once you reach breeding maturity, everything changes. You are now a full-grown adult hippo, a massive, heavyweight river giant. As a living hydraulic press, you no longer rely on anyone for protection, and that blood sweat of yours might finally prove useful. Now that you're a male, it's time to make a crucial life decision. But first, you approach a Nile crocodile minding its own business, just a quick warm-up before the real challenge. It's the dry season, which means lower river levels and heightened aggression as hippos compete for mates. The only way you'll get the opportunity to breed is by dethroning the dominant bull. Of course, you could just submit, but being young and ambitious, you opt for a more heroic approach. That doesn't go well. You're defeated and promptly banished from the pod. But that's fine, you're tough literally. In fact, most of your massive body is pure muscle with very little fat. Using all that strength, you drag yourself upriver in search of a new pod. But you can't stay out of the water too long, or your skin will start to crack. As you trudge along, leaving destruction in your wake, you finally pick up the scent of another pod. Once again, there's a dominant bull who doesn't take kindly to outsiders. To get around this problem, you simply become female. Alternatively, you could have just accepted your fate and joined the outcast males. But where's the fun in that? After your nightly grazing session, you settle in with the other females, until the dominant bull, a true heavyweight, decides to make an appearance. It's the perfect time to mate, ensuring your calf is born during the wet season. 8 months later, you leave the pod to find a secluded spot where you can bond with your newborn. This combination of maternal instincts and territorial aggression makes you hyperprotective, chasing down anything that looks like a threat. Surprisingly, despite being closely related to whales and dolphins, you can't actually swim. Instead, your dense bones and powerful muscles cause you to sink, forcing you to move by running along the riverbed. Halfway down the river, you realize your pursuit is a lost cause and turn back. Your point about being one of the world's most dangerous animals has been made. Upon returning, however, you notice something's missing. Your mother always warned you never to take your eyes off your calf. After a long, exhausting day, you settle in with the pod for a nap. Your natural reflexes allow you to surface for air every 4 to 5 minutes without waking up. Meanwhile, across the river, a group of migrating wildebeests is about to make a treacherous crossing. Not all of them will make it past a certain lurking predator, unless you decide to lend a helping hand. As the dry season returns, so do the challenges. Drought, overcrowding, and increased aggression. But with your experience and larger size, you're feeling confident enough to challenge the dominant bull once more. Back to being male again, you warm up before taking your battle stance. With your mouth stretched nearly 180 degrees, you charge forward, locking jaws and attempting to land the decisive bite. Unfortunately, it doesn't go your way. You're not dead, but once again, you're banished. Not everyone can be the dominant bull. Time to move on and search for another pod. But take it easy. Just because you're the biggest creature around doesn't mean you have to take it out on everyone else. Ever wonder what your life would be like if you had been born a crocodile instead?